Hello, today's Bible study comes from Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10, and reads as follows. Let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whosoever loves others has fulfilled the law. The commandments: you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other command there may be are summed up in this one command: love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfillment of the law. Ooh, now, this is talking about our love. And it starts off, and Paul says, owe no one anything except to love one another. And he gets to us. And he says, the only thing that we should owe, we are to carry the thought, the debt of to love one another. And this is something that we should have a debt and we should owe. Um, and this is so the Lord can see us and so that each other can see it. Um, it goes with the greatest two commandments, and Paul is reiterating here. This is the debt you should really owe. This is your obligation to love somebody. Um, and people get this thought of because it says debt and they think of it as money, never to borrow. But this is not about borrowing money. This, Paul is saying, love. That's what you should owe people. You can, all the things he just told us in the previous first through 7 verses of this chapter, um, he's saying that's the government. This is personal. And you can never be done loving. So you will always owe somebody love. You should give them love. Everybody. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. And like Jesus had said, like I said, Paul is reiterating what Jesus said back in Matthew when he gave you the greatest two commandments. And he tells you this is one of them. This is one of the two commandments, which hangs the law, all the law together, and all the prophets. Love your neighbor. It, it simply means everyone you meet, not the person that just lives next door to you, not the person across the street from you, but everyone that you actually meet with, every person that you deal with, every person that you have spoken to, love them. We are to love real people. That's what we're to do. It's hard to love somebody you didn't come in contact with because you don't have faith in man, you have faith in God. But everybody you do come in contact with, you have an obligation. Love is the completeness of the law. It it may seem easy to do those other things, but if you don't do the love part, those things really don't matter. Our love for one another is the true obedience to the Lord. And remember, Paul is reiterating the two commandments that Jesus gave you directly. And they both have love in them. They are that important. So we have an obligation and an obedience to the Lord to do these things, to love. We must love. And if you love, you will encompass all, not some, but all the fulfillment of the law. And it says, You shall not, the commandments, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not murder, you shall not steal, you shall not covet, and whatever other command there may be. Also, the ones, the 10 that you know, and whatever else that you know, whatever other command that may come, are summed up in this one command. This love your neighbor as yourself. Love does no harm to a neighbor. So the adultery, the murder, the stealing, the covet, that's harm to somebody else. Love does no harm to that. It covers that. It does not do harm to a neighbor. Love doesn't. Okay? Therefore, love is the fulfillment of all the laws. Amen.